Hello friends, welcome back to McKillip and my fitness and nutrition journey. It feels like it's been ages since I've been on here, and in reality it's been about 2 weeks. So we'll be going over weeks 15 and 16 of this journey. I wish I could say I've not been phased and I've been on track and on plan and conquering, and this has been quite the 2 weeks. In terms of family celebration, it's been wonderful. We've had time with family for both Christmas and New Year's, and we spent plenty of time together. And something unusual, West actually took time off of work and had a true vacation where it wasn't because somebody was sick or were having a family emergency. He just simply took time off work. And I quickly learned that I had a very hard time keeping to my same routines and schedules and habits while he was fully at home. And it has nothing to do with him in particular. It's just the days go differently when you're on vacation mode and you're considering what's the next most important thing, what's the priorities for that day. And vacation mode is not the same thing as regular everyday mode. And so my routines and my schedules and my habits sort of flew out the window. And at first I was kind of holding on to them a little bit, and I basically just said, fine, just give up on them, let them go for the moment, and knowing that I could come back to them. So in my little journal here, I have a big note next to the 1st of January saying, start it again. I know that's really cliche saying I'm going to start everything on January 1st. But in reality, I'm just restarting. I'm finding that restart button and starting again the things I've been doing for several weeks, if not months now, and just learning to incorporate them once again into my life. So I am hoping that with this new restart and the new year, I'll have more consistent progress, because I really did start the fitness journey in probably the cliche worst time to do it, heading into the holidays. But we're out of party season now. I don't have foreseeable parties. Well, that's not true. I don't have any consistent foreseeable parties coming up. We do in 2 weeks have a trip planned. My grandmother's turning 100, and so we will be traveling. I will be leaving on a Friday and coming back on a Monday. It's a very quick trip for a very long distance, lots of time in the car. So that's the next challenge I'm looking at, is getting on my feet, getting back to my routines for about 2 weeks, and then coming up with a plan to navigate that trip. But I am hoping that being out of party season, I will have consistent results. All that with a little asterisk, grain of salt, we'll see. Because at the same time, pretty much correlated with all of this stuff, I've been coming off that medicine, the amitriptyline, and coming off of it has been harder than I expected. I had a hard time going on it, I had a hard time being on it, and I'm having a hard time getting off of it. I've tapered the medicine as they asked me to, so I'm officially off of it as of a couple days ago. And in doing so, my sleep completely tanked. It got down to like 4 hours a night. I was exhausted. It was really bad. It didn't help. And so that was also all happening at the same time as, okay, West's home, I can't have a routine, and now I'm exhausted, and so it all happened at the same time. And I thought, okay, I'm off of it now. I've gone through that yuckiness. My sleep's recovering. I should be fine. And then as of Sunday, which I believe was the 30th, I realized I was running a fever. And I have run a fever every single day since then in the afternoon. It's a low fever, but it's enough of a fever that I feel exhausted, my body aches, and I just want to lay down. And on top of it, the last couple days, I've got dizziness to the point where I better sit still or else I'll get really nauseous. So needless to say, I had a doctor's appointment this morning, and we talked through stuff, and he sampled everything he can possibly sample and sent it off all to the lab. And he says, I'm basically ruling everything out because all your vitals look perfectly fine and your temperature is perfectly fine right now. But I'm going to rule out a bunch of stuff. And in the course of conversation, he did look up the withdrawal symptoms from amitriptyline, and it turns out a fever is part of that, and dizziness. So thank you. When medicine works for me, it really works. And when it doesn't work, it really doesn't work. And I'm in that boat right now, which is frustrating. So yeah, several weeks or 2 weeks now of very little structure in my life in terms of exercise and food, topped off with very sweet times with family, very sweet times with West, and then sprinkled on the yuckiness of coming off the meds. It's been a whirlwind of a 2 weeks, and it really feels like I haven't been here talking to you guys in so long, and I feel like there's just, what can I say? In some part, I feel like a failure because everything fell to bits, but then at the same part, I go, I'm going with the flow. I have to tell myself 2 weeks is not going to end or break everything. I've been doing this for many, many weeks, and I can pick it right back up. That being said, picking it right back up when you're exhausted and having fevers is proving a challenge. That's why I'm saying I'm finding my reset button, because it's not as easy as I thought it was going to be. Yesterday, my big win was to track all of my food and resist all the urges to grab a snack or get something little to nibble on, or at the end of the day when I was exhausted, say, to heck with it, let's go out to eat because I'm too tired, even though I had a pre-planned dinner waiting at home. So the big win yesterday was I tracked all my food. Yes, I was over my calories, but I tracked everything and I didn't give in to the temptation of snacks. The big win for today so far, we're only 2 o'clock in the afternoon, is I actually went for a walk. I said, I am literally going to follow the instructions on the app, and it says go for 30 minutes. I am going to go for 30 minutes and prove to myself that I can actually walk consistently for 30 minutes and be okay. And I did. And I'm now dealing with the thoughts of, okay, that wasn't as fast as I used to be. I'm not as energized as I used to be. Before, when I went on this walk, I felt like I could walk forever. Yeah. It's just another proof that my body's not where it was a couple weeks ago, and it's going to take some time to get back to it. But I walked. So the last time I have me doing exercises was on the 23rd of December. And nothing has happened since then consistently. I have not checked off exercise, but today I can because I went for a walk. Now, tomorrow I'm scheduled for weightlifting. I don't think that's going to happen. I will call it a win if I go for another walk. And then I'm hoping Saturday and Sunday I can also go for a walk, so that by the beginning of next week I can actually maybe try lifting up some weights and seeing how I'm doing, assuming everything is consistent, which is a big assumption. I really want to take the opportunity, because I feel like so much has been missed and lost and wasted during these times, is okay, fine. What happened, happened. Now, can I learn anything from it? And that's where I'm at right now. And I have come to the conclusion, or remembered, that I really don't do good with excessive sweets. I get indigestion, I get nauseous, I get groggy and tired, and it's like, I don't know how to describe it. My taste buds get shot. It's like all of a sudden I can't taste things like I used to taste. And it's just not enjoyable. And I never thought I'd get to the point where I was like, I'm looking forward to not having desserts. I've always been a dessert person. I've always been a give me a sweet snack person. But after the last 2 weeks, I am actually looking forward to not having desserts. That being said, yesterday I did have some Lakanto chocolate, which is the low sugar chocolate. Just like 3 little squares like that. You know, considering what I was eating before, that is an amazing improvement. And it wasn't snacking all throughout the day. It was just after dinner, I had the 3 squares. And I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the flavor. I don't know if I'd recommend that to a friend because it's kind of crumbly. It's kind of weird. But it hit that I want a dessert. feeling. And I've also learned, I've learned how to navigate parties. Yes, it throws off the whole day, or navigate traveling, where I track most of the day, and then on that one meal, I can't track it, and that's okay. And the next day I can get back on track. I've done that multiple times now throughout the holiday. What I have a really hard time with, and which is part of what played into everything that happened the last couple weeks, was the leftovers came home. The sweets came home. And they were sitting out in plain sight in the middle of the kitchen where you walk by every single day, multiple times a day. And yeah, I got to the point saying, okay, there's no point in even trying until these sweets are gone. And logically, it'll take several days for these sweets to be gone. So let's just don't push myself. So the vast majority of the sweets are gone, and the little bit that was left are put away in a cupboard for just my daughter to have and say, this is your snack cupboard. It's for you, not for everybody. It's not out in plain sight. And that helps a lot. And then even before that, I had a little part of a cupboard, a different cupboard that I kept desserts that I could work into my plan, which was basically just chocolate squares. Or occasionally there was a cookie I could figure out how to work it in. If you get over 160 calories, it gets very difficult. But if I can go under that somewhat, then it works. And I'm not tempted to eat all of that because it's very strong. And I can weave that in and out of, okay, I'm going to have a muffin tonight, or I'm going to have a yogurt bar tonight, or I'm going to have a piece of chocolate, and it's limited and enjoyable and not in between every single meal all day long. And I have learned that even on my days off, if you can say, days off of doing everything, I want to move more. I want to keep moving so that I'm not at the exhaustion phase when I come back to the plan. And work on incorporating and highlighting protein even when I'm not necessarily tracking it, because I do feel better when I'm having protein. I was pleasantly surprised that my portion sizes were still small. I couldn't handle, so that means my stomach really has shrunk. That being said, I could snack all day long. Didn't feel good, I could, but I really didn't feel well if I had a larger meal all at once. So I'm glad that that change is still with me. And I have been enjoying, until whatever is happening right now is happening, I was thoroughly enjoying the increased stamina and flexibility I had gained from the journey so far. Yes, I don't feel like my body's changed as much as I want it to, but I am seeing some benefits. So that was nice. One of the side effects from the medicine was a really bad dry mouth, and sweets didn't help that at all. It actually increased my thirst. So I'm glad that the sweets are taking a back seat at the moment. Up until the last few days, I was pleasantly surprised my weight wasn't skyrocketing. It did. December began with me being at 204 and ended with me being 209. So I did gain, but it's already coming off. So I'm pleasantly surprised. And that basically means I was able to maintain throughout the holiday seasons. And since I have experienced that skyrocketing of, okay, it's up now, and then all of a sudden comes down drastically, quickly when I go back on plan, some of that concern with it skyrocketing isn't there. It's like, okay, I know it's going to come back down. It's just the course of life. And when I get back onto the food that I want to eat, then it'll be okay. I'm really looking forward to that moment where it just consistently keeps going down, rather than the bumpy. But I really think that has to do with the non-tracking days and the holidays. So like I said, I wish I could say I wasn't phased or I was on plan, but I am human, and I am still learning to balance health goals, relationship goals, and life stressors. And all three of those things happened at once in the last 2 weeks. So here's looking to a new year. And like I said, yesterday's big win is I tracked all day. And today's big win was I went for a walk. and we will continue walking this out. And I'll look forward to hear back from my doctor if he has found anything specific, or if it's just the continued withdrawals and getting off this medicine. If that's the case, I'm hoping that it'll be resolved and gone in 1 to 2 weeks. And so I'll just continue to see improvement, which is funny because that would end right before my trip to Arizona. Oh well, that's how life goes, isn't it? But I hope that your holiday season, their end of the year, was wonderful, and that you had those wonderful memories made with your family and friends, and that maybe you did better with your health goals. Maybe you're better at balancing them, and if not, that we can journey together towards balancing them better in the new year. So looking at this new year, I am planning on taking it one step at a time, and my mind always wants to give me higher goals, more complicated goals, more concrete goals, very unrealistic goals. And I think that's really what I'm working at right now, is saying, you did nothing for 2 weeks. It's okay if you do one thing, and that'll be good. And tomorrow we'll do another one thing, and it'll be good. And just allowing myself to have the baby steps to get back on, because I'm not feeling well. And just once again reminding myself that a couple weeks, a couple days does not change the trajectory of where I'm going. I've been on this path for now 17 weeks, and I've faced traveling on it. I've faced parties. This is actually the first time I've truly been sick, had a fever. I've had, migraines on and off the whole time, but truly been, okay, my body is drained. I'm ill. It's pretty amazing that for the last 17 weeks, I haven't faced that yet. So it's just a process of learning how to incorporate continued progress on the fitness and nutrition as life happens, because I can't control life, and I don't know anybody who can, because I'm not God. Here's looking at the new year and finding our reset button to get together and learning to walk in baby steps and knowing that it's okay. And the trajectory and the momentum is what matters, not necessarily the bumps in the road and the roadblocks. So, thank you for joining me. And until next time, feel free to like and subscribe.